Imagine a world where the boundaries between the divine and the profane are not so clear, where the forces shaping human history lie beyond comprehension. We're about to reveal the darkest, most powerful secrets that have remained hidden in the pages of time. The fallen watchers, angels who disobeyed, challenged celestial commands, and fell from the heavens, bringing with them a legacy of forbidden wisdom, uncontrollable power, and eternal corruption. But what no one knew was that their fall did not mean the end. They were not erased from the world. On the contrary, their influence continues, shaping the actions, thoughts, and even the destinies of those who dare seek the knowledge they left behind. In this video, we will explore the enigma of these celestial beings and their consequences for humanity. Why were their secrets hidden? How do their actions still reverberate in the modern world? Prepare for a journey that will deconstruct the narratives you know and shed light on the darkest corners of biblical history, where angels and men meet and prophecies intertwine with the present. The truth is more dangerous than you can imagine. What really happened when these fallen beings descended to Earth? What impact did their teachings have on the evolution of humankind? How, in the silence of the great powers and the most influential figures, do their plans still advance without your notice? Get ready, because what you're about to discover might change the way you see the world, its history, and humanity's future. If you're ready to uncover the secret of the fallen watchers, don't miss a second of this video, and stay with us until the end as we reveal even more in the next episode. Hidden behind humanity's deepest mysteries lie the Watchers, celestial beings once sent to Earth with the divine mission of guiding humanity, but who ultimately defied the Creator's laws. These angels, captivated by human creation, succumbed to temptation, revealing forbidden knowledge and shaping the course of civilization in ways that continue to resonate today. In their fall, the Watchers not only challenged the Creator, but left behind a dark legacy of chaos, power, and concealed truths. They taught humanity mysterious arts, including weapon making, astronomy, alchemy, and occult practices, fundamentally altering the trajectory of history. Their actions, though impactful, created such imbalance that they brought about divine judgment and the imprisonment of many of these celestial beings. However, the Watchers' influence did not vanish with their punishment. Their prophecies, preserved in ancient texts like the Book of Enoch, foretell events that continue to shape the destiny of humanity and the cosmos. These cryptic accounts speak of a return, of a time when their past deeds and the influence of their hybrid offspring, the Nephilim, may once again rise to challenge the balance of the world. The hidden power of the Watchers, their influence and the prophecies they left behind, delves into this age-old enigma, exploring how the Watchers might still shape modern societies. Through ideas, movements, or unseen forces, are we witnessing the fulfillment of their ancient prophecies? Most importantly, are we prepared for what lies ahead? This journey unveils the connections between a celestial past and a terrestrial present, shedding light on truths humanity can no longer afford to ignore. In the ancient days, when the earth was still young, the Watchers descended from the heavens, their radiant forms piercing the veil of mortal understanding. Sent by the Creator, they bore a divine mandate to guide humanity, to nurture its fledgling steps in a chaotic world. Their presence was awe-inspiring, their wisdom unmatched, and their authority unquestionable. Yet, hidden within their celestial mission was the seed of rebellion, a spark that would ignite an eternal conflict. The Watchers marveled at humanity, not merely as a creation, but as something profoundly unique. They saw the desires of men, the beauty of women, and the untamed spirit of a race destined to flourish. What began as a fascination turned into temptation, and temptation into betrayal. Led by Simjaza, their leader, the Watchers forged a pact, binding themselves to a course that would defy the Creator's will. Their descent was no longer a mission of guidance. It was a surrender to forbidden desires. They revealed secrets hidden since the dawn of creation. They taught men the forging of weapons, women the arts of enchantment, and the masses the knowledge of the heavens. The world was transformed, but with enlightenment came corruption. The innocence of humanity was torn asunder, replaced by ambition, greed, and the shadow of war. Above, the heavens stirred in silent fury. The rebellion of the Watchers was not ignored, but allowed to fester. Their actions inscribed in the annals of divine judgment. Their influence spread, their teachings corrupting the balance of the world. Humanity, once guided by the light of the Creator, now walked paths shrouded in darkness. The Watchers had chosen their fate, but the reckoning had yet to arrive. The earth trembled under the weight of their sin as humanity unwittingly bore the consequences of a celestial fall from grace. The rebellion of the Watchers did not end with their descent. It marked the beginning of an era of chaos and transformation. As their pact solidified, these celestial beings took human women as their consorts, an unholy union that defied the natural order. From this forbidden union were born the Nephilim, beings of immense strength, size, and cruelty, a grotesque reflection of the rebellion that birthed them. The Nephilim were not merely anomalies, they were conquerors, dominating the earth with their unnatural might. Their presence distorted the balance of creation, spreading terror and destruction wherever they walked. Tribes of humanity bowed in fear, their lives consumed by the oppressive rule of these hybrid beings. The Watchers, blinded by their desires, reveled in their creations, unaware or uncaring that their actions echoed into the very fabric of existence. With the rise of the Nephilim came a flood of forbidden knowledge. The Watchers continued to unveil secrets meant only for the divine. They taught humanity the crafting of weapons, the arts of war, and the hidden powers of the natural world. The earth, once a harmonious reflection of its creator, became a battlefield, its soil soaked with the blood of endless conflicts. But this corruption extended beyond humanity. Nature itself began to recoil. The animals turned violent, the skies darkened, and the earth groaned under the weight of its defilement. The harmony of creation was replaced with discord, a cacophony of suffering that echoed through every corner of existence. Above, the heavens watched, their silence heavy with judgment. The Creator's patience was vast but not infinite. The deeds of the Watchers and the devastation wrought by the Nephilim could not go unanswered. The stage was set for a reckoning, and the sins of these fallen beings would soon summon the full measure of divine wrath. The Nephilim spread their dominion like a plague, corrupting all they touched. The world, once pristine, was now a theater of blood and chaos, with humanity cowering under the shadow of these monstrous beings. They erected vast cities and monuments, symbols of their unholy power, while the Watchers, their celestial progenitors, ruled as gods over the lands. But the price of this dominion was steep, for the balance of creation teetered on the edge of collapse. The cries of the oppressed reached the heavens, and the Creator's heart was moved by the suffering of his creation. The corruption of the earth had gone too far, and judgment was imminent. Messengers were sent, bearing the weight of divine warning. Among them was Enoch, the righteous scribe, a mortal man chosen to confront the Watchers and proclaim their doom. Enoch stood before the fallen ones, unyielding in the face of their power. He delivered the Creator's decree. Their rebellion would not go unpunished. The Nephilim, their offspring, would be destroyed, and the Watchers themselves would be cast into the abyss, bound until the day of final judgment. Their time of unchecked influence was drawing to a close. The Watchers listened, their arrogance wavering as the weight of divine wrath settled upon them. For the first time, fear rippled through their ranks. They pleaded for intercession, begging Enoch to speak on their behalf. But their fate was sealed. The Creator's justice was absolute. The heavens began to stir, the first tremors of judgment resonating across the earth. The Nephilim, once invincible, felt the hand of divine power pressing against them. The Watchers, bound by their sins, could only watch as the seeds of their rebellion began to bear the fruits of destruction. The end was near, and no power on earth or in heaven could halt the reckoning that loomed. The heavens roared as the Creator's decree reverberated across existence. The rebellion of the Watchers had reached its climax, and the earth quaked under the weight of impending judgment. The Nephilim, towering giants of unimaginable strength, stood defiant, their arrogance blinding them to the gathering storm. Yet their might would prove no match for the hand of divine justice. The floodgates of heaven opened, and the earth began to weep. Torrential rains fell in unrelenting fury, turning rivers into oceans and plains into vast seas. The Nephilim, once feared as invincible, were swept away by the unyielding waters. Their roars of defiance turned to cries of despair as the flood consumed them, leaving no trace of their reign of terror. The Watchers, witnessing the annihilation of their progeny, were struck with dread. They realized too late that their rebellion had sealed not only their fate, but the fate of the world they sought to rule. Their cries echoed into the heavens, pleading for mercy, but none would come. The Creator's judgment was final, and their defilement of His creation could not be undone. As the waters rose, the earth was purged of the corruption that had plagued it. Humanity, once ensnared by the teachings of the Watchers, was given a chance to begin anew. Yet, the memory of the Watchers' influence lingered, a shadow cast over generations to come. In the aftermath, the Watchers were bound in chains, cast into the abyss where they would dwell until the final judgment. The world, though cleansed, bore scars of their rebellion. The flood was not just an end but a beginning, a solemn reminder of the Creator's justice and the devastating consequences of defying the divine order. The age of the Watchers had ended, but their legacy would haunt humanity forever. The floodwaters receded, but the scars left behind by the Watchers' rebellion remained etched into the very fabric of the world. Humanity, having survived the deluge, was granted a new beginning, a chance to rebuild, to heal, but also to remember. The story of the Watchers, their descent, and their destruction was passed down through generations as a warning, a somber tale of celestial beings who defied the Creator and the price they paid. But the legacy of the Watchers did not end with their demise. Their influence continued to reverberate through time, hidden beneath the surface of the world they had once sought to control. The descendants of the survivors, now scattered across the earth, unknowingly carried within them fragments of the forbidden knowledge imparted by the Watchers. This knowledge, though buried deep within the hearts and minds of men, began to resurface in subtle ways. Temptation, greed, and lust for power stirred in the hearts of some, drawing them to the ancient teachings of the fallen ones. The arts of magic, the forging of weapons, and the study of the stars, these were the remnants of the Watchers' influence, and they continued to call out to those who would listen. As centuries passed, the secret teachings of the Watchers found their way into the hands of kings, priests, and scholars who used the knowledge to shape the world according to their desires. In every corner of the earth, the seeds of rebellion planted by the Watchers began to sprout once more. Those who sought to dominate others, to wield power beyond their means, were unknowingly guided by the same dark forces that had once led the Watchers to their fall. The world had not forgotten the Watchers, for their legacy was bound to the very nature of mankind. Their influence was insidious, threading through the fabric of society, whispering to those who were willing to listen. The reckoning of the Watchers may have come, but their mark on the world would not be so easily erased. As the centuries wore on, the shadow of the Watchers grew ever more distant, yet their influence never truly dissipated. The earth, though scarred by the flood, continued to turn, and humanity, scarred by their knowledge, continued to evolve. The teachings of the Watchers, once secretive and hidden, began to seep into the fabric of society once more. In the rise and fall of kingdoms, in the ambition of rulers and the whispered desires of the powerful, the legacy of the Watchers lingered like an unseen hand guiding the course of history. In the dark recesses of temples and the hidden chambers of scholars, forbidden texts and ancient rituals were preserved, passed down like precious heirlooms from a time long past. These ancient writings, though obscured by time, contained the forbidden wisdom of the Watchers, arcane knowledge meant to elevate mankind to godhood, or so they believed. But with this knowledge came a terrible cost. The same arrogance that led to the Watchers' downfall now took root once more in the hearts of men. The world witnessed a resurgence of occult practices and esoteric movements. Secret societies, driven by a thirst for power, turned to these hidden teachings to gain dominion over the earth. From the mystics of the East to the occultists of the West, the influence of the fallen angels echoed across the globe. The arts of alchemy, astrology, and sorcery were embraced by those who sought to harness the power once wielded by the Watchers. But these dark arts, no matter how they were cloaked in mystery or veiled in secrecy, carried with them the same corruption that had once led to the destruction of the Nephilim. The world had not yet learned the full extent of the Watchers' impact. While some believed that their punishment had been meted out with the flood, the true consequence of their rebellion was not merely their imprisonment or their annihilation. Their curse would haunt mankind for millennia, like a silent force waiting to emerge when the conditions were right. The end of the Watchers was merely the beginning of a darker age, a time when the seeds they had sown would grow into a new kind of corruption, one that could threaten the very future of humanity itself. As the hidden knowledge of the Watchers continued to influence the world, the veil between the earthly realm and the supernatural thinned. The dark teachings once whispered in secret were now woven into the very fabric of global events. Political powers, religious institutions, and secret societies began to harness these forbidden truths, unknowingly, or perhaps knowingly, becoming vessels for the same corruption that had once caused the fall of the Watchers. The ancient prophecy of their return, buried deep within the scriptures and oral traditions, began to echo once more in the hearts of those who dared to listen. In the distant corners of the earth, scholars and mystics, some driven by a thirst for knowledge, others by sheer ambition, began to decode the forgotten languages and symbols left behind by the Watchers. The artifacts, once thought to be relics of a time long past, were resurrected in the hands of the curious and the power-hungry. With every discovery, the Watchers' influence crept further into the world. Alchemists sought to unlock the secrets of immortality, while astrologers and prophets delved into the stars, searching for signs of the Watchers' return. The lines between science, magic, and the occult became increasingly blurred, and what was once seen as heresy now held the keys to untold power. In the heart of kingdoms, the ruling elite embraced these esoteric teachings to solidify their control. Some believed that by mastering the ancient rituals and divine secrets of the Watchers, they could transcend mortal limitations, becoming like the gods themselves. These secret leaders orchestrated hidden alliances and wars, manipulating history for their benefit. The Watchers' teachings, once lost in time, now guided them toward their vision of dominion. Yet, even as they wielded this power, the ancient prophecy loomed overhead. The Watchers, though cast down, had not forgotten their designs. Their influence continued to haunt humanity, as a dark force stirred in the depths of the earth and the heavens, waiting for the appointed time to unleash the final chapter of their rebellion. The end game was approaching, and the very fabric of reality trembled as the long-forgotten war between the divine and the fallen neared its reckoning. The time of reckoning had arrived, and the world stood on the precipice of its greatest trial. The Watchers, though bound and imprisoned, had not been silenced. Their influence continued to fester within the hearts of mankind, slowly shaping the course of history. As ancient prophecies foretold, the final judgment of the Watchers would not come in a single cataclysmic event, but as a slow, inevitable unraveling of reality itself. The seeds of rebellion planted long ago by these fallen angels had matured, and the world was ripe for a new era of darkness. Across the globe, signs of the Watchers' return were becoming more apparent. Strange cosmic events began to disrupt the heavens, and disturbances in nature mirrored the turmoil brewing beneath the surface of humanity. Secret societies, some ancient and some newly formed, began to openly challenge the established order, guided by the forbidden knowledge left behind by the Watchers. They preached of a coming transformation, a great awakening that would elevate mankind to new heights, but at a terrible cost. The world was on the verge of chaos, and those who understood the ancient wisdom of the fallen angels knew that the time for their ascension had come. In cities and temples, the whispers grew louder, calling out to the chosen few. The ritualistic practices of the Watchers, once thought to be lost, were being revived. Ancient symbols were etched into the walls of secret chambers, and forgotten texts were brought back into the light. The watchful eyes of the fallen angels seemed to peer through the veil of time, urging their disciples to act. The world's leaders, unaware of the true forces at play, continued their desperate attempts to maintain control, but the tide was turning against them. The Watchers' influence was now undeniable, and those who stood in their way were doomed to fall. As the cosmic signs intensified, the Watchers prepared for their final confrontation. They knew that the end was near, and their rebellion would either be crushed or fulfilled. The earth trembled, awaiting the arrival of the fallen ones. Would humanity rise above the legacy of the Watchers, or would the world succumb to the same forces of corruption and defiance that had brought about the flood? The ultimate battle between the divine and the damned was about to unfold, and no one could predict the outcome. The final hour had arrived, and the world found itself at a crossroads. The Watchers, whose influence had rippled through history, now prepared for their final act, an event that would bring the heavens and earth to war. The ancient prophecies, buried deep within sacred texts and whispered in the secret chambers of occult societies, spoke of the great showdown that was to unfold. The heavens had watched in silence for millennia, but now they stirred in response to the growing rebellion on earth. In the shadows of the world's greatest cities, powerful figures, both known and unknown, began to rally behind the cause of the fallen ones. Secret organizations, whose influence spanned centuries, gathered the remnants of the ancient knowledge. The Watchers' promise of power, immortality, and godlike abilities had begun to resonate once more with those in positions of power. These disciples of the fallen angels saw this moment as their destiny, an opportunity to ascend and reshape the world in their image. But the celestial realms were not silent in their watch. As the earth trembled under the weight of this rebellion, the forces of light began to rally against it. The angels, the true messengers of divine will, prepared for the ultimate battle. Heaven and hell were about to clash once again in a conflict that would determine the fate of humanity and the universe itself. All over the world, signs of the impending battle became more evident. The sky itself was in turmoil as comets streaked across the heavens and the stars shifted in unnatural patterns. Nature itself seemed to recoil at the disturbance in the balance of power. Earthquakes, storms, and floods ravaged the land, signaling that something far greater was at play. The final confrontation would not be a simple clash of armies. It would be a battle for the very soul of mankind. Would humanity succumb to the influence of the fallen angels, embracing their forbidden knowledge and powers? Or would they rise above the darkness and reject the legacy of the Watchers? The fate of the world rested on the decisions made in these final moments, and the battle for the future of mankind was about to begin. The earth trembled as the final battle approached, and the conflict between the divine and the fallen escalated to its ultimate climax. The Watchers, once banished to the depths of the abyss, now sought to reclaim their dominion over the earth. They had carefully orchestrated the return of their ancient influence, weaving their power into the fabric of humanity's desire for more knowledge, more power, and more control. They had seduced the minds of kings, the hearts of scholars, and the hands of those who could manipulate the forces of nature. The time had come for the Watchers to rise from the ashes of their fall and claim what they believed was their rightful rule. But heaven, ever watchful, was not blind to their plans. The legions of angels, led by the archangels Michael and Gabriel, had been preparing for this final confrontation. The cosmic scales had tipped and the battle lines were drawn. As the earth groaned beneath the weight of this conflict, the heavens opened and the divine host descended, shining with a light so pure it cast shadows of dread upon the earth. The celestial forces were not here for vengeance alone. They were here to free humanity from the curse the Watchers had left behind, to end the cycle of corruption, and to restore balance to the world. The war between the Watchers and the divine was not confined to mere physical battlefields. It was a war for the souls of mankind. As the earth shifted and cracked, people found themselves torn between the allure of forbidden knowledge and the call to resist. The Watchers promised godhood, immortality, and ultimate power, but at what cost? The price of such power was the very soul of humanity itself. In the end, the battle was not won by strength alone. It was a battle of wills, of faith, of choosing between light and darkness. The Watchers had once defied God's authority, and now the final reckoning would come. Heaven's forces clashed with the fallen ones in a cataclysmic confrontation that would change the course of human history. The outcome of this war would determine whether humanity would continue its downward spiral into darkness or rise to fulfill its divine potential. The fate of the world now hung in the balance. The final prophecy was about to unfold, and as the heavens and the earth collided, humanity would be forced to face the legacy of the Watchers and the truth about the power they had sought. Would the cycle of darkness be broken, or would the Watchers finally succeed in their eternal rebellion? The last chapter of the story was about to be written. If you're captivated by the hidden secrets of the fallen Watchers, then you won't want to miss our next video. We're diving deep into the ancient prophecies of the Watchers and how their predictions are still influencing world events today. How have these long-forgotten prophecies shaped history, and what do they say about the future? We'll explore the eerie connection between their words and the chaos unfolding in the world around us. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and get ready for the next revelation. Stay tuned.